Yes. The Oscar nominations are out. What? How could they not nominate me? I gave that performance everything. I mean, everything. I played the underdog. The character arc was believable. I even nailed the free throw scene. Who doesn't love a good dramatic free throw scene?
Hey, Joe, you seem a little upset.
A little? They didn't nominate me for an Oscar, Travis. I had the best performance in a basketball home video this year.
Is that even a category?
It doesn't matter. Those Academy bozos, they wouldn't know real talent if it slapped them right in the face. Like a half-court buzzer beater.
Oh, like that half-court hook shot Winford used to beat you in 01.
No.
It'll be all right, Coach. You're going to get that award one day.
You lost that love and
Hey, honey, I'm with Coach Joe right now. Can you hold on, please?
What's that song?
That's the David Sheldon remix. Everybody's got it now. Did you know he won a Grammy last week with it?
Sheldon! Well, we brought Travis Berardi back in.
For some reason.
But the question is, I'm a little bit concerned because we were going to test your ball handling skills today to see if you made any kind of improvement.
I mean, I am like a JV three-point record holder in the state of West Virginia, so I mean, staying at JV level, I think I'm happy with that. But you know what I'm good at? Breaking down brackets with you, sir. So let's get into the boys' side of things. We did the girls last week, and that starts tomorrow. You can watch five or six. Yeah, Brian holding up 5 fingers. 5 sectional final girls basketball games live and free on the OH Report tomorrow. But before we get to that, let's talk about the boys' brackets, Joe, and let's talk about one of the most exciting brackets right out of the bat. That's in the Central District because of Big Walnut. That's an exciting team we got to see down during the Joe's show a couple weeks ago. But this is a team, don't let their record deceive you. They play in a really tough conference, but they are the top seed in their district. However, they got a seed right behind them that they might face in the district final.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a chance to. I've got a chance to cover a couple Big Walnut games. We've got a chance to go to practice and take a look at Coach Stump's team. And I mean, they're 12-7. The record might be a little bit deceiving, I guess. But what's interesting, they won 3 games in a row until they lost to Westerville North, who is the top team in Division II in the state.
With them.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were down 15 in the third, and it was that turning point where the game was going to maybe get to 20, it would be over, but they fought their way back in and kind of gave themselves a chance at the end. So they had won 3 games in a row prior to that. The interesting thing with their schedule, though, they've never lost 2 games in a row.
About to mention that, yeah.
So they've got a really good draw in this tournament, and I think they could be a really dangerous team just because of their size, athleticism. They got a couple guys that can really shoot the basketball. So it'll be interesting to see how their tournament run goes here in the Central District. But eventually they're going to have to run into Westerville North again, which is that's the team I think to beat, not only in the Central District and the regional there, but possibly they might be the best team in the state.
Yeah, but you know what? That's why you play tournament games. But also, I mentioned that's one of the most exciting districts. There's only 4 teams in each district, but it breaks out into all the central districts for regionals. So you kind of get like a super district out of those 4 when they meet in Columbus for the regional. And then
the other interesting part, they're going back to the fairgrounds to play some of these games.
That's going to be a great atmosphere.
First round. So that's been a long time, and I know. I mean, we played in the fairgrounds once. I wasn't thrilled about it, but I know in the Central District that is a big thing to play at the fairgrounds. So if you're a basketball fan, you might want to check those schedules because typically they'll play 3 or 4 games in a day there.
Yeah.
If you're a basketball fan, you're going to see some great basketball.
All right, now to one of the most exciting districts in our area, at one of the most exciting venues in the state of Ohio. That's at the Haas, because they ended up getting the Division III Northwest 3 district with all of our teams. Ashland, Lexington, Mansfield Senior, Sandusky, Norwalk, Columbian, and Madison. I mean, anybody, even Ashland's in that district. It's going to be a very high octane, district with all the teams that make it in there, but it's a smaller court as well, and that could, heighten the score, that could heighten the defense. I don't know what's going to go on, but I know anytime you get tournament games at the Haas, they're exciting.
Yeah, I mean, we had a chance to play at the Haas and
had a big upset there too.
Yeah, that's one of a special wins we had. But you're looking at this this district. I mean, I think Lex and Sandusky are the 2 teams that stand out. Lex is 17-3, but Lex's journey is going to kind of be interesting from the standpoint, one, they open with Madison. So you're playing a team for a 3rd time, and a team that they if you look at the scores, I think they beat them by 20 the first time, 14 the second. But I believe in both those games, Madison kind of felt that they were really in those games through about 3 quarters. And then if Lex does win, they play Ashland, and they just beat Ashland by 1 point. So that's going to be interesting. On the other side of the bracket, you have Mansfield Senior, 14-5, played a pretty tough schedule, but probably not as tough a schedule as Sandusky has played. I mean, you look at Sandusky, you go 12-6. Elyria, they got beat by Mansfield Senior early, St. Ed's, Upper Arlington, Richmond Heights, and then probably maybe the team that sticks out a little bit is Sandusky Perkins, but that's pretty much a rivalry game. But Sandusky beat Lex, I think, about 3 weeks ago by 20.
Without Fogel, though.
Yes.
So that might be a key, but still, even 20 points against that Lexington team without him is still an impressive win.
And Lex is interesting from the standpoint, I mean, one, there may not be a better 1-2 punch inside than Fogel and Caudale.
Absolutely.
They got a really good point guard in Seven Allen. And then the role players, they've got several guys that can really shoot the 3. So they have really good balance. But as we've mentioned, and typically when this was Division II, this was one of the toughest districts in the state.
Yeah.
In Division III,
it probably still is.
It's still going to be one of the toughest districts in the state.
And we'll have all those games for you from the Haas live and free on the OH Report. Let's move to Division IV in the Northwest District, and actually just the bottom of the bracket because that's our teams down there. But we got one going down at the Joe Arena to start off the tournament. That's Clear Fork in Ontario, a 3rd time those MOAC teams meet, but then the winner has to go to Upper Sandusky. And then on the bottom half, a very intriguing matchup, Ottawa Glandorf, a 6 seed? Ottawa Glandorf, a 6 seed going to Shelby.
But Ottawa Glandorf 7-11, that might be interesting. This might be the first losing regular season that OG has had in a long, long time. But great tradition there. I think Upper Sandusky kind of found that last Saturday. They went over there.
That's a big win for them.
They kind of had an all-day event, and OG won by 20. So if you take a look at this whole district, I think it's pretty much wide open. There's not a team that's a dominating team. So from the standpoint, you look at the tournament, but you also look at this last week of the season as a coach. You would like to play really well in your last game or 2 games going into this, because any team that's playing well has a chance that they can get out of this and get to the regional. I mean, if you look at Upper Sandusky, 2 losses each to Colonel Crawford and Mohawk, and then they got beat by Bellevue. So they've not really gotten beat by a team like you would say.
No,
that's really an upset.
Yeah.
You look at Shelby. Shelby's kind of been up and down, but they're 13-8. Had a big win against Ashland. They only lost Upper by 4. They have OG coming to Shelby, so that might be a little bit of an advantage for them.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. In the top half of the bracket, you said Elida, Van Wert, Kenton, Lima Bath, and St. Mary's Memorial. So it looked like the team's geographical mix right there, those teams staying at the north and the other teams staying at the south.
I mean, the only part for this will be it'll be a little bit of a travel for teams. Maybe not so much for Upper, but that district's going to be at Finland.
Yeah. Let's move on now to Division 6, the Northwest District. And this is where, we have the Colonel Crawford Eagles and the Crestview Cougars, 2 of the highlight teams there. I know Crestview lost to Plymouth, but then their next game last night got canceled due to illness. So you got to think maybe illness had to do something with their 3-point loss at Plymouth in a rivalry game, but still, Crestvew's really, really good.
Yeah, Brian and I were discussing that a little bit before, and I think the game against Plymouth, he kind of got word that like 4 guys were just really sick, and then they just said, hey, we can't play against Madison. And that's, a lot of times as a coach, you talk about adversity that you're going to face.
Yeah.
It could be injuries. It could, they're facing a little bit of adversity right now that they're fighting through this illness. So your hope is that, here in the next day or so, they can kind of get through that, because they have a big weekend coming up, and that they're going to match up with St. Paul on Saturday night now for a chance just to tie for the league rather than to outright win the league.
Yeah. And then, they take on Bucyrus, and then a possible matchup with either Seneca East or a third time against Monroeville. You take a look at the top of the bracket, Winford Western Reserve, so a Sheldon going against his dad's former team, and then with a chance of playing Mansfield Christian. The winner of that would most likely get Colonel Crawford there, but you got to think, it's Crestview and Crawford that'll be the favorites in this district.
Yeah, I mean, if you're placing bets, which you like to do.
I pretty much got even during the Super Bowl. Thank you very much. But yeah.
Is that you would bet that Crawford and Crestview are going to meet in the finals? I mean, Crawford's, won 17 in a row. Only loss was the first game of the year to Crestview.
Yeah.
Have been playing really, really well lately. I mean, David's done a great job again there this year, but that would be a really interesting matchup at the Arena in the district finals if it becomes Crawford and Crestview.
Yeah, but like I said, you play the game. You never know if we get upsets
you never know.
Or
We can just
like
guess
that.
here.
Let's move on to Division 7 before we get to our Central District teams. D7 Northwest District. This is St. Paul, who right now has clinched at least a share of the Firelands Conference Championship. They're the top seed. They get either Lucas or St. Peter's, which those games between those two MBC teams were battles this season. Below that, you got Buckeye Central, South Central, and then on the bottom half of the bracket, Plymouth, Danbury, Sandusky, Central Catholic, and Crestline. So this has the feel that St. Paul, if they can just take care of business, they should be at least playing for a district championship, if not district champs.
Yeah, they're the number 1 seed, 15-5 so far, as you mentioned. At Plymouth on Friday, Crestview at home on Saturday. They've won 9 in a row.
Yeah.
So we just mentioned about you want your team playing the best basketball they can. I mean, right now going into the Friday and Saturday night, St. Paul's probably playing the best that they've played all season, which is where you like to see this team. If you're a coach with a chance, get to a district final and get to a regional.
Yeah, and they started off with a very impressive win that you saw last week on the OH Report at Crestview. They were down early, fought back. They were down 5 points late in the fourth quarter, and they just went on a run and ended up winning that game. So, look out. St. Paul, right back at it. Seems like almost every year they're in the conversation. Once again, they're right into it. Let's go to the Central District teams now. River Valley. MOAC champs. Congratulations, Coach Brown and the champs.
They're not undisputed yet.
No, not undisputed,
but they got a good chance that could happen on Friday night. But, Rodney Brown's done a great job with that team. They're a fun basketball team to watch. Just play really well together. There don't seem to be any kind of egos. Offensively, they really share the basketball well. And I think Coach Brown's really, really happy with how this season has gone so far. And they got a great chance, I think, with their draw that they can make some noise in this tournament.
Yeah, they're the 1 seed. The 2, 3, and 4 seeds, they went to the other Central Districts. So River Valley takes on a 16th seed Cristo Rey, and then they'd either get 8th seeded Eastmore or Marion Franklin a 13. Then on the other side of the bracket, it's probably going to be either Buckeye Valley, Columbus East, or Johnstown, and they meet in a district final. But yeah, River Valley, I mean, you saw them last year. They graduated one of the best players in school history, but they did not fall off because they had such good players off the bench last year.
Well, and they have such great balance.
Yes.
I mean, if you take a look at the games that we've covered, their scoring, it's not like one guy's getting 26, 28 or whatever. They've got guys with 12, 15, 16, 18, and then there's 3 or 4 of those guys that are doing that. So from the standpoint, if you're preparing against them, you're not going, hey, we just got to stop 1 guy or 2 guys. You're taking a look at, hey, they got 4 or 5 guys that can score. It really makes it difficult for teams to prepare for them.
Yep. Let's go on now to the Central District in Division 6. This is where we see the Northmore Golden Knights, the Centerburg Trojans, the Cardington Lincoln Pirates. Northmore a little bit down right now. Jack Swinger's been out. They had a loss to Northside Christian last night in a rematch last year's district championship game. A tough loss against Centerburg, but they still have the playmakers to maybe make a district semifinal or a district championship. Centerburg, they've been playing hot basketball as of late. They've even played 2 tough games where a couple plays go their way. They might be in it or knock off Fredericktown once or twice, but they'll get Madison Plains, then most likely head to Tree of Life Christian. Northmore, they could get Mechanicsburg or Grandview Heights, who is an 8th seed. Grandview Heights a little bit down this year, but you still can't count that team out.
I mean, the Jack Swanger injury for Northmore is crucial. I mean, he's kind of that glue. He's kind of that guy. He's been through it. You hope that he's going to be able to get back, but you just don't know right now. And you know, if he's back, you think you could see Northmore making a run. If he's not, I think it's going to be a tough road for them.
And on the top half of the bracket, you have number 1 seeded Cardington Lincoln. They're a state-ranked team. They're really good. They have very good guard play, all seniors on that team. And, I mean, if things work out, you may have 3 KMAC teams playing in a district semifinal in this district, and it'd be up for anybody's as that district championship game's at ODU. And then instead of going to OU or all the way down to Dayton, actually this year, the regional is at ODU as well. So kind of a benefit there.
Well, and you hope from that standpoint when it's in that closer proximity that one, the fans are going to come out. It's going to be a lot better atmosphere to play in. And it's, you know, we've talked. I mean, this is the first year of 7 divisions. It's going to be interesting to see, one, how this all plays out, and then also it's going to be interesting to see kind of fan reaction, how the fans like it, and also you know, how coaches and players like it, because I think you're going to see some teams that traditionally don't have a lot of chance in the tournament, be able to make the run. And because I think a team like Marion Harding in the MOAC, you know, they're traditionally were Division I team, had to go play a Bradley or somebody like that. They're D3, they've got a chance to make a run also.
Yeah, we have a lot of good boys basketball teams have a chance. Our final brackets that we're going to be taking a look at now, this Division 5 Central District, that is Fredericktown. They got a bit of a meat grinder in their district. They're a good team. They're the KMAC champs for a reason, but they'll take on Mount Gilead at home in the sectional final, and then they'll most likely take on 3rd seeded Bishop Reedy. Then the top half of that bracket is 7th seeded North Union, who beat them in game number 1 of the year. And then, you know, Afrocentric's right there as well at the top. That is a meat grinder of a district in the Central.
I mean, when you went to 7 divisions, there's always going to be a team or a couple teams that are going to be like Division 5's the division where you have in the northeast Richmond Heights. I think it's Lutheran East, maybe even Lutheran West might be in that 2. Not Lutheran West might be a 3, but you know, that's, and then I think even Harvest Prep might be Division 5 down there too. So the teams that are in Division 5, the run to Columbus is going to be a tough run.
Yeah, and although on the other side, this regional, it's at Mansfield Senior. And another player we may see at Mansfield Senior if they win their Northwest District, that is the Margaretta Polar Bears, and one of the most electrifying players, at least in our area, Julian Washington.
Yeah, I mean, Margaretta's had an outstanding season. I think they're 20-1. Their only loss, I think, is the Canton Central Catholic just here in the past 2 weeks. But yeah, he's been dynamic, and they've been really, really good. We haven't had a chance to see them a lot.
Yep,
but we've seen this player in the past. I saw him play against Willard in the one game, and he's dynamic, but he also has a group around him that's dynamic also. So Margaret, I believe, got to the regional finals last year.
Lost to Colin White in OG.
In OG, in a great game at BG. So they've got experience, and they've also got a little bit of that hunger to be able to get out of the regional and get to a state tournament. That'll be interesting.
Pete Henry, that's going to be packed. This is not as big as the name before, but this is one of the biggest names we've seen play in a regional at Pete Henry since Diebler and Upper Sandusky.
Yep,
down there.
It would be. Yes, it would
Margaretta, they always travel well too, so that place, you know, Pete Henry is a great atmosphere for tournament basketball, and once again, we'll get to see it if Margaretta can get out of there, and then we have an Afrocentric or somebody else. That's going to be some good basketball right down the road from us.
Yep, and it's always good for us when we don't have to travel far.
Absolutely. And one more team, they're the top team in their district, but a team you saw knock off the KMAC champs last night. got to mention the Hillsdale Falcons. Bradey Krichbaum, 5 players in double figures last night in their victory. A very balanced team, and a team that, Coach told us 2 days ago when we were at practice that this is probably the best team they've seen in 20 years, and they have a legit shot of winning a district and heading to Barberton for a regional.
Yeah, and we've got a chance to talk to Ben Ferguson, the head coach, who this is his second year. I think they went 17-8 a year ago.
That'll be on next week's episode, by the way, folks.
So they won a couple games in the tournament a year ago, but I think we talked a little bit with him about this. They have a pretty good path to do something special in Hillsdale basketball that has not been done for a long time. I mean, and you got to give them a lot of credit. I mean, I think 3 years ago they broke the record that they finally broke through. They had lost 59 Wayne County League games in a row. So, those kids that are now juniors and seniors witnessed some of that, and I'm sure they got to feel really good about, hey, we're turning this thing around. And it sounds like they got some young players coming also, that Hillsdale, not just this year, but in the future, might be a team in that Wayne County League that will make some noise.
And we will have Hillsdale's basketball games for you during the tournament run right here on the OH Report. But that's it with our boys breakdown. We still have some conference championships to decide, weather permitting, if it happened right before this show. Colonel Crawford and Mohawk, 2 state top 10 teams in their division. Also, we have, Crestview, St. Paul going on, River Valley clinching an outright championship. So we still have some of those games going on, but I mean, this is the best time of year, Joe. Tomorrow we got girls basketball tournaments. Next week the boys, and we have conference championships this weekend. Who needs sleep?
Well, and the problem for you is you got to fit in some skill work there too, between all the broadcasts.
I'm a spot shooter, Coach. I'm a spot shooter. As always, Coach, pleasure being on.
Right,
and let's get a couple calls in this tournament season.
Yeah, we will. All right.
Season 3 of The Joe Show is brought to you exclusively by Buckeye Horizon, your local trained comfort specialist. Schedule an appointment online at BuckeyeHorizon.com or call their Mansfield location at 419-529-2738.
Momentum is a powerful thing in high school sports, and the Big Walnut girls basketball team has plenty of it heading into tournament play. The top-seeded Lady Eagles are riding a 7-game win streak into their playoff opener on Saturday, and are a huge favorite to win their district bracket in Division II. I saw the record-setting squad in action under the direction of former Eagles star Carey Largent, who gave us an inside look at practice and shared perspective from her coaching journey. We're with Carey Largent, the head coach of the Big Walnut Eagles. And Carey, as we do these coaches' interviews after you practice, I think one of the things that's always interesting for people that view is to kind of hear about your journey. And your journey is a little bit unique because, you played here at Big Walnut. And I guess maybe talk a little bit first about how that high school experience, I guess, maybe led you to have an interest in coaching.
Well, I did play here 4 years varsity, and we had some success. We won some conference championships, and I actually played for my dad for 2 years, my junior and senior year. And so that was a cool experience, as well as my brother who played. And so kind of coming from a basketball family and growing up, my mom went to Big Walnut, so very much part of the community. And when I came back after I played in college, I just missed, I'm such a competitor, and I missed being on a team and being part of a team. And so that kind of spurred me to want to get into coaching. And so I started out in coaching actually as an assistant at Worthington Christian and at Bexley, but I was not a teacher, and I'm not a teacher. So I was in the business world, and the two did not mix very well. So I eventually had to give that up after a few years, and then got married and started a family. And so getting back into it has been interesting because the game has changed so much, but also like being able to come back here with the community that has been so important to me growing up, and coaching has been really special. So
you played at Kent State, and then I think you also went to the College of Charleston.
Yes.
And you mentioned, I guess, already that just that competitive spirit is kind of what you had.
Yeah.
Is there anything else as far as from college that maybe you've taken into your coaching career?
Definitely. I mean, when you play in college, you just learn the game at such a deeper level. And I think that being a young woman and knowing that there are others coming behind you that are kind of the same makeup, the competitor, the love for the game, and knowing that you could go and give back and really help them understand at a deeper level what it takes to play in college, what intensity and hard work really is, and also just being a female role model, because I think there are more now, but they're just, especially when I played, weren't a lot of female coaches, and so I thought that was a unique opportunity as well.
So you get the job here. I think this is your third year here at Big Walnut, and one of the big words that is used in coaching now is culture,
Right.
Or I guess that used to be philosophy. So talk a little bit about maybe the culture or philosophy that you tried to bring here to this program here at Big Walnut.
So we very much pride ourselves in playing together, which I know is a very, very common word to use on a team, but this day and age with just the highlight reels and the Instagram and just everything is so individualized. Really taking pride in playing basketball the right way and making the right play and playing together as one unit. And that's not always, it's sometimes easier said than done, especially when you have a talented team. And so we really try to emphasize just that unity, not just on the court, but we invest a lot off the court, just time spent together, activities, team building.
Talk a little bit about maybe some of the activities or team building that you do. I'm sure you do that in the off season, but also during the season. Maybe some special things that you do that might be unique to your program.
They're very goofy, a group of girls, and so we do a lot of just, people would probably think they're just weird things that make them laugh, and like we were up in Lake Erie for the, what is that?
The Midwest Live?
Yes.
Okay.
And we went to a lake house, and they went thrifting, and they bought these like old lady nightgowns. And they wore them and did TikToks and dances in them, and like they're the funniest group of girls, but they don't care, they just are silly and they laugh together. And so we just do like they had a contest of who did the best TikTok, or we play dodgeball sometimes in practice, or we had a Halloween party where they had a pumpkin carving contest, they were on teams, or I mean we just do a lot of different things. So but I think the most important thing is them getting together and then laughing and enjoying each other. Like they really are really good friends. And but that speaks to them and the kind of people they are and the families that they come from. But it does take some cultivating.
Yes. Yeah.
So intentionality. And so we are intentional about that.
Well, I think it showed today in your practice, because one of the first things you mentioned was they're not going to enjoy the first part of practice because they're going to do some running for some things that they didn't. But as I watch that, sometimes you see a team that you get heads put down, and they just kind of embraced it, said that hey, we understand that this has got to be part of the process.
Right.
So you talk about your culture, but also I guess taking a look. I've been to a few Big Walnut games, and I noticed like the youth things at the halftime.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things you mentioned when I read the article when you got the job, you talked a little bit about that a youth programs have been established here at Big Walnut. Maybe talk a little bit about what that youth program involves, and from your standpoint, how are you involved with it?
So the youth program is something that is so important to us, and we have tried some things that when I took the job I tried to implement was really blending, like us as a varsity program reaching down, and then the young girls being able to come up and do some things with us. So every girl on my varsity team is a coach of a COBA team. Now they're not the head coach because there's some things they have to, but they're an assistant, and so they go to practices and they go to games. So they each have a team. Some are two to a team, so they're very involved, like just with their teams and going to the games and supporting them. And then you'll see them come and support them. because they've developed a relationship. But then also our 6th grade girls, we have 8 of them that rotate on a two on per week, like every 4 weeks, because it's a lot to come to every practice.
Yes,
but
it is.
they come and they run the clock and they rebound and they help and they're just involved. They ride the bus with us. They are in the locker room with us. And so they get that experience of being at a varsity practice, being around the girls, and that's the 6th grade level. And then we do spring clinics where the girls run them like once a week for like 6 weeks. We do our camp that the girls, they all work at it. And so it's been growing. Like our numbers every year at camp have grown, which has been really fun to see. But then I've also been able to get familiar with the younger girls just from camps, and there's some talent coming up, which is really exciting. And but to see them like at our game on Friday, they're so excited because they're invested, because our girls invest into them, so they feel a part. And that's the whole part of like the together, the word. So we say grit, energy, together, get it. Like you have to pursue things you want in life. You have to go get it. It's not handed to you. And that we talk about grit, energy, and together. And so together is a big part of that with the youth program.
You know, being involved with the Ohio High School Basketball Coaches Association, one of the initiatives I think that you're aware of is what we call 28.5, which is, we're trying to emphasize women coaches coaching basketball. And one of the things we're going to do here next year is, I think it's January the 31st, we're going to have, I think, 5 or 6 games. It's going to be women coaching, women's teams, that have all the women's officials. Because what we're trying to do is promote that idea of coaches like yourself having a family and trying to find that balance of coaching. So I think you talked about, well, I don't know if I have any balance yet, but maybe talk a little bit about, just from the standpoint, you have 4 kids, your daughter plays for you, your oldest plays for you. How do you deal with that, being a mom and also being a coach?
So, yeah, my kids range from 16 to 4, and it is quite the balance, or quite the juggling act. But, and one thing I will say I'm proud of is my staff. You see, one of my assistants has an 18-month-old and she's due in 6 weeks, and then I have another assistant that is newly engaged, and another one on staff that's married with 3 kids, and then of course my dad's an assistant. But we have 4 female coaches on staff, and we all are at various stages and ages of our lives, and we support each other and are flexible, and we work really well together. So that's been really fun to see. But as far as balancing, I have a tremendous husband who is super flexible and works from home. And so he is a huge help. And then my mom lives very close, and she's been able to help with the younger boys, because the 4-year-old and the 9-year-old have been tricky at times. But it's a support system.
And I talked to your dad a little bit before he started practice, and he said, it's kind of basketball. And that's good that you have a support staff around you. So, favorite part of coaching?
It's being back into the competitive realm with a team, and like accomplishing something together, and being a part of. I told them yesterday during film, I said, I do this because I don't want you to have regrets. I want to set you up for success, and I want you to reach your goals. And to see them, my time is gone. And so all I have left that I can do is give and help them. And when we achieve what we set out to do, that's the best feeling in the world. But when you fail, that's also, something that you can help them through and help them learn from. And I think it's just the fact that I get to be around these young ladies and be in their sphere of influence and like help shape them in some way, shape or form.
Is there a least favorite part of coaching?
I would say the administrative stuff. The scheduling and the expenses
and having to do the online thing every year.
I just, anything that takes me away from actually being with the girls and coaching, I would say. And I hate losing.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
I hate that part.
you're one of the top Division II teams here in the state of Ohio because we've expanded to, to 7 divisions. First of all, maybe give your opinion of what do you like the 7 divisions, the expansion, or we really haven't gone through it yet, but
it's definitely different. We went from last year when we looked at our central district, it was like 45 teams and a gauntlet to get out of the district, and now I'm looking at our bracket in Division II and it's 18 teams and taking the same amount for district winners. So it's quite a change. But I do think, we're small, like when we were Division I, we were a small Division I. And we're not like a huge Division II either. Like we only have 17 girls in our program. I think there are more wrestling girls in our wrestling program than basketball. So we don't have numbers. And so from that regard, it evens the playing field a little bit. So there's a huge opportunity that we have ahead of us. That's exciting. So I guess we'll just see how it plays out.
And my last question is, it's always a joy to watch practice, but as you said, it seems like you have a group that really gets along. What do you like about this basketball team this year?
Well, I think I touched on it. They're just fun to be around. They're silly, they laugh. But what do I like about this basketball? Just like X and O's wise, or
just X and O's, or just what this season's, I guess, maybe been a little bit. You won a league title a year ago, and that may not be in the cards right now, but this team still has a lot that they can accomplish. And I guess maybe just like, what do you think that the potential is of this basketball team?
I think that if they make up their minds that they want to do something, we have all the potential in the world to do it. And I think that if the Lord blesses us with health and injury-free, they have all the potential in the world to make a big run. And so that's our goal. Like, we're refocusing for the last, 7 games, and then into the tournament. It's like a new season. And I will be pained when the season's over because I just really enjoy being around them.
And that's, I coached for a long time too, and that it's always is hard at the end of the season, especially when you have a group that you really love. And I think you love this group.
I do.
So one, we appreciate letting us come to practice. Appreciate talking to you, and thank you very much.
Thanks for coming by.
All right, greatly appreciated.
Thanks.
When the 19-3 Golden Eagles take the floor on Saturday, they'll be just 2 wins away from a district championship. Though the squad failed to win a league title this season, something Coach Largent did 3 times as a player at Big Walnut, a potential run to the state would be a sweet second act. We had 10 candidates up for Coach B's Ballers for games played January 29th through February the 4th. The vote was dominated by one player this go-round. Here's who you chose as our winner. Congratulations to Sawyer Weston of River Valley, who received 82% of the vote on Instagram to go along with nearly half of the total vote on all other platforms for his 18-point performance in a win against Shelby, scoring the first 7 points of the game to knock off the 6-time defending MOAC champs. Keep up the good work, Sawyer. Now it's time to meet this week's nominees for Coach B's Ballers, featuring the top individual performances captured by our cameras over the last 7 days. Our first nominee is Trevin Harris of the Centerburg Trojans. Trevin was outstanding on his senior night as he scored 39 points in the Trojans' 59-47 win over Northmore last Friday night. He scored his team's first 11 points en route to his career high. The Trojans currently stand at 11-9 on the season, with home games tomorrow night versus Genoa Christian and Saturday versus Pleasant. They open tournament play on Tuesday when they host Madison Plains. Our second nominee is Boston Pearson of the Marion Harding Presidents. Boston couldn't miss from long range as he knocked down all 5 threes, including 2 buzzer-beating threes en route to his 25 points in the President's 47-29 win over Pleasant. Marion Harding is in the midst of its best season in school history as they currently stand at 17-3 with 2 regular season games left against Gallion and Columbus South. The Presidents will open tournament play in Division III, where they are their number 2 seed and will host Columbus West on Tuesday. Our third nominee is Micah Young of the Westerville North Warriors. Micah played big on the road in the Warriors' 72-64 win over Big Walnut. Micah showed his all-around game as he scored 14 points, grabbed 4 rebounds, and had 2 steals. With a record of 16-2, Westerville North is currently on a 15-game win streak and will host Worthington Kilbourne on Friday night. The Warriors, who are currently the number 1 ranked team in Division II, will wrap up their regular season next week and will begin tournament play on Tuesday, February 24th, when they host Columbus Whetstone. Our fourth nominee is Reese Redmond of the Colonel Crawford Eagles 8th grade girls team. Reese led her team to back-to-back junior high N10 championships and back-to-back undefeated seasons. In her team's tournament's final game, she recorded a double-double by scoring 13 points and grabbing 10 rebounds in the Eagles' win over Winford. She also had 3 blocked shots as the future looks bright for the Lady Eagles. Our fifth nominee is Nolan McCall of the Norwalk St. Paul Flyers. Nolan led his team from a 10-point fourth quarter deficit at Crestview in the Flyers' 57-54 win over the Cougars. His game-winning assist was a highlight to an outstanding night for this senior as he scored 24 points, blocked 3 shots, and had 3 assists. The Flyers are currently 15-5 on the season and lead the Firelands Conference. St. Paul is at Plymouth on Friday night and then have a chance to win the Firelands Conference outright on Saturday against Crestview. The Flyers are the number 1 seed in their district and will play the winner of Mansfield, St. Peter's, and Lucas on Friday, February the 21st. Our sixth nominee is Zach Lovegrove of the Northside Christian Lions. Zach was dialing it in from beyond the arc as he knocked down 6 threes as he scored 22 points and grabbed 3 rebounds in his team's 55-41 win at Northmore on Tuesday night. The Lions currently stand at 16-5 on the season and will wrap up their regular season on Friday when they host KIPP. They will open up tournament play when they host Liberty Christian next Friday night. Our seventh nominee is Garrett Holtz of the Clear Fork Colts. Garrett got hot as he got to the basket at will in the Colts' 76-36 win over Lucas. He recorded a double-double as he scored 27 points and grabbed 10 rebounds. The Colts have won 3 in a row, but face a tough challenge as they travel to River Valley, the leaders of the MOAC, with an outright title on the line for the Vikings. The Colts will open a tournament play in Division IV when they travel to Ontario on Tuesday, February the 18th. Our eighth nominee is Lexi Federer of the Big Walnut Eagles. This junior guard showed off her downtown shooting stroke as she went 4 of 5 from behind the arc in the Eagles' 52-47 win over Bishop Watterson last Saturday night. Lexi finished the night with 14 points and also had 4 steals. Big Walnut finished their regular season at 19-3 and are their number 1 seed in their district. The Eagles will open a tournament play this Saturday when they host the winner of tonight's Licking Valley versus Columbus Northlands game. Our ninth nominee is Bradey Krichbaum of the Hillsdale Falcons. Bradey put up a massive double-double on his senior night as he scored 11 points and grabbed 13 rebounds. He also added 3 block shots in the Falcons' 70-63 win over the Fredericktown Freddies, who were the KMAC champs. The Falcons are currently 15-5 on the season with regular season games versus Smithville on Friday and at Rittman on Tuesday. Hillsdale open up play on Saturday, February the 22nd, when they host Lordstown in the Division VII Northeast District Tournament. Like we always do, these nominees will go up for a fan vote where you can decide who my top baller of the week will be. After a quick 30-second timeout, we'll be back with more Joe Show. But first, a word from our sponsor, Buckeye Horizon.
Season 3 of The Joe Show is brought to you exclusively by Buckeye Horizon, your local Trane comfort specialist. Get the best in home comfort. Hot or cold, we're here for you. Welcome back to episode 7 of The Joe Show. Can you believe that we only have one more left to come? What an awesome last week that we just enjoyed of the girls' high school basketball regular season. Playoffs, of course, getting underway this week. And for the fellas, quite a few shakeups right there at the top of the league schedules and plenty of monster performances. Lots of big-time plays. We're going to show you 10 of them coming up right now. It's time to meet your top cuts of the week, presented by Buckeye Horizon. They say the defense wins championships, whoever they are, but they were certainly right about last night's boys hoops clash inside of the castle, where Northside Christian kept the game down at their offensive end for quite a while, getting buckets off their full court press as they suffocated the Golden Knights for a road victory. More defense turned into points coming up at number 9 inside of the Cougars' den, where Crestview looks like they're going to get a transition bucket before it's erased by Nolan McCall. This leads to a fast break the other way where Jacob Sakaro attacks 3 defenders with a fancy underhand runner. Big game Tuesday night at the Falcons' Nest where Hillsdale knocked off the K-Mac champs. Big game 2 for Holland Young on senior night. And how about that move and finish and one jumper after setting up a pair of Freddie's defenders with a reverse between the legs dribble. Good stuff right here from the Falcons guard who called bank late in the evening. At number 7, we head back to the castle with happy memories for the home team this time. Aggressive closeout from Shelby Cooper gets the block and the possession. Oh my, what footwork to tip the ball back in play after timing up the three-point shot with rigid precision. Big Walnut hosting Bishop Watterson at number 6. Let's start things off with Brody Hatfield on the controls. The slick setup for Brady McCruder, who flushes it down like an angry plumber. Gorgeous setup from Hatfield, who sucks in the defense so Braden can fly like a golden eagle. Let's jump into the top 5, beginning in the Clear Fork Valley. Carter Cool with the rock. He'll get trapped, so he finds Garrett Holtz, who darts between 2 defenders and cashes in this and one without even looking. Rewind it back to see the ridiculous drive. Holtz then absorbs the hit and flips it home with his right hand on the left side of the honey hole. We've got some extreme fundamentals thrown in the mixing bowl with stuff you normally see at Barnum and Bailey's. Only that's Big Walnut Sydney Mobley, utilizing a half dozen pivots before tossing in the circus shot. I'm not sure how you defend against this or if it can even be taught, but that's why she's all Ohio and you're not. But this kid just might be. Carter Myers making it back on our countdown this week, and this dude always has a flair for the dramatic. And usually right in front of the student section too, as he punishes the rim with a jackhammer slam. At number 2 this week, it's more from Big Walnut's McCruder, closing seconds of the third quarter, looking to upset the top team in the state in Braden. Times up the putback perfectly with a two-handed slam. Check it out one more time. Ball gets tipped off the three-point miss, and McCruder's there to play janitor with a nasty cleanup to get the bird nest jumping. But at number 1, we head back to the den. St. Paul trying to dethrone Crestview for the top spot in the league. There goes Nolan McCall off the ball fake and big fella taking orbit. Smashing down the tomahawk jam with the feared defender Tyson Ringler contesting from the weak side. Flyers erased a 10-point fourth quarter deficit for the Firelands Conference lead. Lots of amazing dunks on this week's countdown. Plenty of jaw-dropping moments as well. Was it the best top 5 that we've had all season long through the first 7 of these top cuts? Get the debate going right now down in the comment section. About to send it back over to Coach Balogh. He's going to take you around the arena with another high flyer.
The boys basketball team at Hillsdale has not enjoyed very much success since joining the Wayne County Athletic League. That is, until the arrival of their current crop of athletes. After finishing dead last in the league just 3 years ago, an unfortunate conquest the program attained for 5 consecutive seasons, the Falcons have now finished in the top half of the standings over the last 3 years. The centerpiece behind the program's resurgence is senior forward Bradey Krichbaum, who has been a force at both ends of the floor throughout his high school career. I took a lap around the arena with the 6'6" standout to get a better understanding of his life on the hardwood. Okay, we're here with Bradey Krichbaum of the Hillsdale Falcons in this edition of Around the Arena. So Bradey, you've been a part of this program, and especially a part of this program in the last 2 years, where last year you went 18-7, and this year you guys are having a really good year. Kind of what's it meant to be part of that turnaround of Hillsdale basketball here in the last 2 years?
I mean, it means a lot, obviously. Before we were the bottom of the league, bottom of the area pretty much.
I think I read a stat one time you guys have lost like 59 league games in a row.
Yeah, we were like 0-59 or something like that. And so just seeing the program turn around, especially as it's been like a progressive time through my high school career, it's really special to me because I've been there the whole time for that, and now I get to see where it goes from there.
Senior year, you guys are 14-5 currently. You'll start tournament play here in about 2 weeks. What would really make this season special for you?
I'm going to keep winning. We're on a streak right now. We've been playing hot. We've been playing together. Our defense has been really good, so just got to keep that going in the playoffs, and then hopefully make it past regionals.
Give our viewers a little bit of a description of what kind of player you are.
I like to call myself the paint protector. I block shots in the paint. I rebound. I do my best to score, but mostly rebounding and blocking.
As we do this with players throughout the year, typically as I talk to players, there's either a person or persons that have kind of really influenced their athletic career. Who might be that person or persons that you have?
Well, my dad's a big one. He never played sports in high school or anything, but he always wanted me to be good at sports, so he tried his best to teach me what he knew, and then look up stuff to teach me. And then I also have some cousins that were good college athletes, and I want to continue that in the family.
I think each year, you guys were successful last year, as we mentioned, but each year I think also players try to improve. What would you say you've improved most on from your junior year to now into your senior year?
Confidence for sure, and passing probably. But I have a lot more confidence going up with my shots now. Last year I got a lot of rebounds off my own misses, and then I scored off of that. And this year I
padded your stats.
Yeah, I did. This year I actually got it.
What do you enjoy most about basketball, playing basketball?
Probably just the guys out here, It's a lot of fun. It's basketball's close, I would say closer knit than football. Especially at the college level, you have huge football rosters and then a smaller basketball roster. So basketball is more family oriented.
If you're not playing basketball, what do you like to do?
Most of the time I'm just hanging out. I have a lot of homework that I do for college classes. So I do that. I play some video games, and then just hang out.
You have a favorite athlete?
It used to be LeBron. Now I'd probably say I've been watching a lot of Joe Thomas highlights. I'm a big Joe Thomas guy. I don't know why.
So why did LeBron drop off of your list?
I don't know. Just more of a ever since he had moved to the line at football, I like watching a lot of lineman clips on Instagram and all that.
You have a favorite college team you follow?
Not really. I pay a lot of attention to Duke this year because they have all those crazy good freshmen that are doing really good. But I don't really have a favorite team now.
Favorite NBA team?
Definitely the Cavs. Cavs are on a run right now.
What do you think about the trade?
Which one?
Didn't they get Jerome Hunter? Didn't they get Jerome Hunter from?
I haven't seen anything about that.
Yeah.
You guys heard about the Dallas trade with the Lakers?
Oh yeah. Who hasn't heard about that?
That's crazy.
Pre-game meal. Any kind of favorite thing you go to every time, or you doesn't matter?
Probably Burger King. I eat a Whopper from Burger King before.
Is that the good luck charm? Or
yeah, I don't even know. I just do it.
Best memory so far in your high school career?
Definitely for football when we went to state. It was pretty crazy, pretty special. I have a football family. All of us have football families, and just seeing that was pretty awesome.
Well, we appreciate you taking time, and as you wrap up your senior season and begin tournament play here in about 2 weeks, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Bradey. Brady's Falcons just earned perhaps their most impressive win of the season when they knocked off KMAC champion Fredericktown last night behind Krichbaum's monster double-double. With a record of 15-5, Hillsdale has 2 more league games before competing in the sectional finals next Saturday. That's it for tonight. Episode 7 is now in the record books. And with just one more show remaining, you're running out of time to witness my Hall of Fame career unfold on your screen. It may not be the big screen, but it's a start. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go check on my court to make sure things are as I left them at the world-renowned Joe Rena.